Today's theme is positive impact. I'm an academic and I have the privilege to work with many young people, and I think you will all agree that our job as academics and educators is to empower young people so that they can make a positive impact in the future. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Let me start with a question. Have you ever been in one of those huge ice cream parlors with many dozens of flavors? I'm talking over 50. If you haven't, try to imagine. And how easy, or maybe rather difficult, was it for you to pick just 2 scoops of ice cream out of so many? Your expectations are very high because all these flavors look fabulous. And to be honest, I don't think if I know anybody who would walk in, take a look, and say, okay, I want this one and this one. Job done. It's a difficult decision, right? Because the more options we have, the more difficult the decision-making process becomes. Now, just for a minute, go one step further, and please imagine that you have to make that same decision without ever trying ice cream. Or maybe just once or twice, a little bit. Ridiculous, right? And yet, this is what we oftentimes expect from university students. Let me explain. Very often, my students get a lot of this. Hey, congratulations! I heard you're doing great. You're already in your 3rd year of university. So, what's next? What do you want to do after university? What's your plan? Where do you want to work? Ooh, a heavy and a stressful question for many of my students. And the honest answer to that question for many of them would be, I don't know, or I'm not sure yet. And they usually answer something more appropriate, and they're left with a heavy feeling of anxiety and maybe even guilt because they don't know. But how could they know if they never tried it before, or just once or twice for a little bit? So you see where I'm going with this. I'm comparing the decision about making career choices to the situation from the ice cream parlor. And I know what you're going to say. It's not the same. And I agree with you, it's not the same. It's much more difficult. The decision about your first job carries a much heavier burden in its consequences than the decision of choosing 2 scoops of ice cream out of 50. And trust me, you have many more options than just 50. Why? Because our culture is pushing you to get yourself out there, to explore all the potential options. Do not limit yourself. Look further. Aspire for more. So you're very much aware that you can apply for your first job position right here, in another city, in another country. You can volunteer somewhere for a year. That sounds exciting. You can work and travel. Or maybe you can start your own business, here or anywhere in the world. Your options are unlimited. It can be paralyzing, because the more options we have, the more difficult the decision process becomes. So how can we help young people make smart and informed decisions about their future? Let's go back to the ice cream parlor to see what we typically would do in a similar situation. We would usually pick out 2 or 3 flavors that we know we like, and then look at the different varieties of flavors in those flavor groups. So I would probably look at the types of chocolate they have, maybe mango and probably cookie dough. And I would create in my brain an imaginary, limited choice that would help me make the decision. Why am I able to do that? Well, because I've had a lot of ice cream in my life. And I know what I like and what I dislike. So limiting your choice to a few options is actually a natural and a wise instinct, given that you've had prior experience before and you know what suits you. So I'm here today to advocate that universities should enable students to create their personalized ice cream parlors, small and limited, when it comes to making the big decisions about their professional future. It's not easy and it's not quick. It's a long and gradual process. But how can we, as academics and educators, support students through this process and actually create conditions which would enable this process to take place? My 20 years of experience working with many young people and looking how others do it around the world tell me that we can do a lot. And I want to bring your attention to 3 important points. Number 1, make room for self-reflection. What's important to you? What do you care about? What are you interested in? And most importantly, what are you good at? Anything and everything that will make students understand themselves better, learn about their talents, predispositions, and their dreams. And only then they can actually make an informed decision about their future. Number 2, encourage and enable students to engage in a variety of small-scale professional experiences. Cross-disciplinary projects, community-based projects, any forms of cooperation with the real world, with many different types of organizations from many different sectors. Try as many flavors as you can. And third, develop transferable skills that will not be outdated. Critical thinking, creativity, digital skills, teamworking skills, effective communication, all the skills that they will need regardless where they work in the future. And these 3 points can be a part of every university program curriculum. Self-reflection, real-life experiences, and transferable skills. And you and I know that many universities around the world and fantastic educators are doing a great job at incorporating these 3 areas into their university programs. And yet, through conversations that I have with university graduates, with young employees, HR professionals, and my ex-students, I'm picking up signals that we're still not doing enough. Here are 3 examples of those signals. Some young people are not really happy with their job, but they stick with it anyway for some reason. They say, it's okay, it's not exciting, I'm not crazy about it, but it's just a job. They settle for less than they aspire to. Other people admit that they work mainly for the money. These are bright minds, very competent individuals who get quickly hired by top firms and enjoy financial stability. And still, other young people have very unrealistic expectations when it comes to their work, fueled strongly by over-promising employer branding campaigns. They quickly become disappointed and end up frequently changing their jobs. All these people are rather unhappy at work and they don't feel they're making a meaningful contribution, a positive impact. But then I always ask them, so tell me, what would you prefer to be doing? And the answer is still, I'm not sure. I don't know yet. And this tells me that we need to be working harder to help them realize what it is that they want to be doing while they're still here at the university. The university is a place, but also a time for exploration and trial, for error, for failure, for success, for discovery and inspiration, and for learning about yourselves. So let's make more room for self-reflection and building self-awareness. Let's engage students more in real-life problems so that they can become the problem solvers of tomorrow. And let's help them build transferable skills that will determine their effectiveness in whatever they do. Going back to the fatal question of what do you want to do after university? It reminds me very much of a question we tend to ask preschoolers, very, very young kids. Who do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a dancer. I want to be a teacher. Fingers crossed. I want to be a firefighter. And it's all super, super cute. But it's also very outdated. The young people that we work with today will most likely need to reinvent themselves multiple times along their career lives. The world is changing quickly. They will need to adapt to it. And we don't know what the world will look like in 10 or 20 years when they reach the peak of their careers. So instead of asking questions like, who do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do after university? We should be asking them, what do you want to be a part of? What's your field? How do you want to contribute to co-creating the future of that field? What do you want to change or create anew? That's what we should be asking. Maybe even those little kids. So whether you're an educator, a relative, or a friend or a parent, like me, the next time you talk to a student, hold your tongue and rephrase your question. And try asking any of these questions. Which courses lately sparked your imagination? What's easy and fun to learn for you? What field are you interested in and would like to be a part of? What new ideas did you get from your courses, workshops, other experiences? And what did you learn about yourself lately? Instead of putting more stress on young people by asking outdated or quite irrelevant questions, let's help them build their own personalized ice cream parlors when they know what tastes best for them, what's more suitable for them, and thus help them make a positive impact in the future. Thank you very much.